Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos and Abuja. A reminder of our top stories. Explosion rips through a crowded bus station in Abuja. At least 72 people confirmed dead. The president visits blast scene, condemns attack, also assures of triumph over terror. INEC reviews gender policy to accommodate more women in politics. And the prosecutor at the Oscar Pistorius murder trial accuses the South African athlete of using his emotions as an escape. Just a quick reminder to you that all our top stories are on our website, ChannelsTV.com, and on YouTube.com/channelsweb. To get us on the move, visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Of course, you can now interact with the channel's Eyewitness feature on our Android and Windows 8 platforms. So if you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap on the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and then follow the instructions to share your reports, pictures and videos. Well, indeed, our eyewitness reporters have been sending in pictures of the gruesome scene at the Nyanya Motor Park, the Federal Capital Territory, where an explosion occurred this morning, claiming over 70 lives. Some of those pictures you can see now show the residents watching the scene from a distance. There's also thick smoke billowing into the sky in most of them. Would like to thank you so much for sending those in. Over now to Abuja. Here's Linda Akigbe. Linda.
Thank you, Joman. Welcome to the nation's capital. Delegates at the ongoing national conference have condemned the bomb blast that occurred in Abuja early this morning. The delegates who observed the minute silence for those who lost their lives in the explosion also passed a motion on the security situation in the country. Moving the motion, which was co-sponsored by 19 other delegates, the sponsor, Midibo Kawu, said despite the efforts of security forces, the situation has continued to escalate. Our correspondent, Larry Lasisi, has the report.
Now, news of the bomb blast that rocked the capital city of Abuja set the stage for the plenary session of the National Conference for Monday. After the opening prayer, a minute silence was observed for those who lost their lives in the blast.
May their soul rest in peace. Thank you.
What followed was a motion on the matter.
So I'm moving a motion that this conference condemn in its entirety the reckless and unwarranted killing of Nigerians.
Though the motion was seconded, it had to make way for another motion.
The conference condemns the activities of the perpetrators of these heinous crimes, that the conference is concerned about the continuous deterioration of the security situation and calls upon the federal government to take urgent, drastic and concrete steps to arrest and immediately bring an end to these atrocities. That the federal government should immediately commence a process of reconciliation, rehabilitation and reconstruction of the affected areas of the country.
This motion was passed. The session then commenced considering the structures of conference committees.
My view is that people should get down to those committees. And related matters are not excluded. If we stay here today to keep talking about whether this particular sub-item should be there or not, there is no way we can anticipate everything that will come up when people begin to look at memos.
Let us, if we are going to the committees, allow the committees to do most of the work. The committees itself might find that they might subdivide the subjects into smaller matters. But I don't think we need more than 4 committees to discuss this matter.
This led to some heated exchange.
Even the statement of the president
defeated.
Shortly afterwards, the plenary adjourned for the day. Delegates were divided over the day's debate and resolution.
There's not anything wrong with the 20 committees that have been set up, if that's the way to go. But we have to make sure that we avoid overlaps. There are certain areas that need to be juggled to make sure that we are not repeating, the same thing in various committees.
We have agreed on these 20 committees, and these 20 committees are going to touch on all aspects of the economy, all aspects that are concerns are political, social, and all the dimensions that cut across the nation. So what we have done is to wait for tomorrow to belong to these committees and work rigorously to see how we can come up with a very good report.
I agree with those who say that we are not here to write a constitution, so we don't have to discuss every issue, particularly every issue that some people think of. We are here to examine the very important items that have been bothering the country.
Why would you come to a conference to discuss banking and finance? Why would you come to a conference to discuss about immigration? These are issues that can be well handled when a government is in place. They are policy issues. So when the Presidential Advisory Committee went around Nigeria, they had the terms of reference. And I believe going outside that terms of reference will do anybody no good.
If in the course of deliberation in any of the committees, there are issues that should also be added to what has been tabled, we can also consider those issues. And I think that is very fair.
Whatever happens tomorrow, it will be closer to us getting into committees and getting some work. What we hope is that the time they have between now and then, they would have resolved most of the issues. So tomorrow will hopefully be better than today.
It is expected that this issue will be settled when the conference resumes on Tuesday. Delegates will also be informed of their respective committees. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
The British government has added its voice in condemning the attack at a bus park in Nyanya, Abuja. Foreign Secretary William H. says he was deeply saddened to hear of the bomb explosion and hopes that those responsible would be swiftly brought to justice. He promised Britain's continuous support for the Nigerian government to help tackle the threat from terrorism. A few days ago, the British government promised its full assistance and mutual collaboration with the Nigerian police force in fighting crimes of terrorism, kidnapping, piracy and other related crimes. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Andrew Pocock, said the British government would assist the Nigerian police in capacity building as relates to acquiring requisite skills in general investigation, scene of crime management, counter-terrorism, bomb diffusion and disposal, and tracking of kidnappers. Suicide bombing and terror attacks are terms which are not associated with Nigeria or Nigerians up until now. In 2010, the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, had its first taste of this unfortunate act. 4 years down the line, and the city remains in the grip of the attacks. In a background report, our correspondent Olu Phillips traces the attacks in the capital city, Abuja.
How would you describe scenarios like this when human bodies are charred and sometimes flung to distances following bomb explosions that leave in its wake sorrow, tears, and blood? October 1st, 2010, while the country calibrated her mind for a Golden Jubilee celebration, terror struck. 2 cars reportedly blew up, leaving 10 people dead. June the 16th, 2011, the Capital Territory again came under attack, this time a change in tactics. A man joins the IGP's convoy, drives into the police headquarters, and detonated a bomb in a suicide mission. 2 months after, on Friday 26th August of same year, a car broke through 2 security barriers, leaving an explosion in what became the first attack on an international organization in Nigeria, the United Nations building. 21 persons were killed with several injured. Just like the terror trend, far-reaching condemnations of the act kept pouring in. Many called for a more proactive action from the government and security operatives. Whilst we were getting a grasp and attempting to understand this act of terrorism so strange to our climb, another 37 people were killed at St. Teresa Catholic Church, Madala, in the Christmas Day bombing of the same year, 2011, some 40 kilometers from Abuja city center.
And joining me in the studio to discuss today's attack is the Force Public Relations Officer, Nigeria Police Force, CSP Frank Mba. Hey, welcome to the studio, Mr. Frank Mba.
Thank you very much.
Now, I want to know, what has the investigation revealed so far?
First of all, I actually want to confirm the fact that the law enforcement community has already commenced comprehensive investigations into the unfortunate incident that happened today. I equally want to confirm the fact that these investigations, because they are typical post-blast investigations, the investigations have been led by the police bomb disposal squad. I can also tell Nigerians that we have equally recovered quite a lot of materials believed to be of high evidential value at the scene, from the scene. Most of these materials are currently being subjected to a forensic analysis. But at this stage, it's perhaps too early for us to begin to give progress report as to the state of investigation. It might also not be technically and operationally wise to do so, considering the fact that even the terror organizations and the terrorists themselves might actually be also watching televisions and listening to news. So for now, we just want to appeal to Nigerians. We want to appeal for calm. We want to appeal for patience. We want to appeal for understanding as law enforcement agents and members of the security forces join hands in trying to find a solution in solving the crime.
Now, what is the update now on the number of casualties? As at the time those figures were released, not everyone had been accounted for.
I think it's a work in progress. As at the time we spoke to you earlier in the day, we said 71 persons dead and 124 injured. I equally listened to the news this evening, and I heard the Honorable Minister for Health saying 72 persons are now confirmed dead. That's just one up from 71. And so for us, really, this is work in progress. We are monitoring the health of those who are receiving treatment. These figures are not sacrosanct, and if there are further developments, we will let Nigerians know probably by tomorrow.
Now, we know that security agencies have been put on red alert in the FCT. How long is this expected to last? What does it involve? And what will be the role of Nigerians, FCT residents, in this?
Okay, basically when the Inspector General of Police ordered his men to be on red alert, it just means that the security arrangement has been heightened. You will see increased surveillance, both covert and overt surveillance of major installations and the vulnerable points within FCT. You will also witness more counter-terrorism sweeps taking place in most parts of the Federal Capital Territory.
Even outside the outskirts?
Obviously. Okay. And then we will also make conscious efforts, of course, working together as a group. I mean, I'm talking of the security community working together as a group. We'll also make conscious effort to try to harden some of the vulnerable targets, some of the targets that obviously looked soft, but which we know will be appealing to terror organizations. Right. We will make conscious effort to harden them and probably provide even greater, wider security for all residents of FCT.
Right. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Frank Mba, for joining us on the news at 10. Now, and that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Ijoma.
Thanks a lot, Linda, there from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.